The Pioneer Village would not have existed if it hadn't been for Mauri Williamson. Mauri had a vision clear back in 1961 to put together a collection of artifacts that belonged to Purdue and bring them down to the fair where they could actually be seen. I can't say enough good things about Mauri Williamson, who started Pioneer Village and is still here at 90 years old. He's still here every day of the fair and wouldn't miss it for anything. Still active in the talks, in the demonstrations. He's always thinking of things to do and improve Pioneer Village, and it is truly a pleasure to work for Mauri. And really, he kind of works for me now, but I look at it that I work for him.
I never missed a state fair. My dad never missed a state fair. My granddad never missed a state fair. Now you go to Florida in the wintertime, or you go to California. But the Williamsons from Wayne County, their vacation for the year was 2 days at the state fair. Watched the horse shows, and walked the aisles, and looked at new machinery. Except for the war years, I never missed a state fair from 1929 to haven't missed one yet. And I hope a few more will come, but it's such an institution. We've always been farmers, and my dad was a good farmer. I never really wanted to be anything else. I went to World War II and came back and went to Purdue to study agriculture, to be a farmer. Well, I should have found out maybe about that stage that being a hard-working, dirt-digging farmer maybe wasn't the thing that I could do best. But I went back to the farm nonetheless and joined in with my dad on a nice 320-acre farm in Wayne County. But I found out that I was a little bit too much of a social animal to enjoy being out there hauling manure and planting corn and milking cows. Well, maybe I ought to be in town giving a speech or organizing something, you know. And Dad would send me to town to get a bolt to fix the plow, and I'd be back 3 hours later because I'd found somebody. I still have that habit. My wife now asks, when she sends me to the grocery store, I reckon you found somebody you knew. It took you 3 hours to get back. But I decided back then, that was in the 50s, maybe I ought to do something else. I went back to Purdue. I wanted to go to graduate school. I was a good student. Dave Fendler was my counselor, and he got me a part-time job, being Ag Alumni Secretary. And then the next day he said, I got bad news for you. They've decided to make it a full-time job, and you couldn't go to graduate school. And I thought, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. That was in 1953. I said, I'll take it for a year, give it a try, and then we'll decide. That was in 53, and I retired in 1990 at the same job. In 1940, our ag teacher and 4-H leader brought a group from Economy High School, took us to the Ag Engineering building, and there in one room was a museum. There were old plows and I remember nice signs that told the year and that sort of thing. A dean and the head of Ag Engineering at Purdue before World War II had decided, by golly, we need to save some of that stuff, or it's going to all be gone to the junk pile or the scrap dealer, who knows. Well, then the war came. They needed space. The stuff all went to the attic in the Ag Engineering building and was forgotten until, what year? 1961. I was executive secretary of the Purdue Ag Alumni Association, had been for about 8 years, and we were offered this collection of that room full of junk or artifacts. Excuse me. And so we took it, because then Glenn Sample was a vice president of Ag Alumni, and he said, I know guys down at the State Fair, they've got a room available. There were about 4 rooms up there, the men's restroom. It was in a balcony, you had to go up a ramp. But it was a nice sized building, and we took it. And we hauled all that stuff from the Ag Engineering building, and I could look around and see some of it here we still have. That buggy right there was part of it. Heretofore, the State Fair had been about the future, the next F-20 farm-all tractor, and the better 6-horse hitches and stuff. But this was kind of a new concept to preserve the history behind you. And we found out all of a sudden that we had a marvelous opportunity. Well, on the other side of the racetrack was a wilderness. And as they were wringing their hands, the fair board, of what to do with this empty mass, what are you going to do to get that more productive? I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. If you'll build me a building, I'll move the museum over there. Well, there was all kind of throat clenching and laughter and all that. But I got enough. What year was that, Tim?
Must have been about 66.
66. I got my help over there. Yeah. 60, 70, it might have been 68. So we built this building. Still didn't have much money. Had a gravel floor. You can imagine what that was like with 100,000 people walking on it all week. But boy, people came. Didn't have much. We didn't have any musical entertainment. We did bring in an old threshing machine. I can't remember, not the one we had now, but we did threshing on a rather limited basis. We demonstrated a few things, and it became the place. It was just immense. We're sitting here right now at the most sought-after place in the world. People would give any amount of money to eat here with us at the noon threshing dinner. And they line up there, people get mad, they can't eat there. We had door prizes, one had to quit that because that got a source of controversy. This has become really, I'm just proud of it because it's the best thing at the fair, outside of the restrooms. As Tim knows, and my wife gets argued, and his wife gets mad too, we kind of think about it all the time, don't we, Tim? And talk about it all the time. My wife said, don't you think about anything else except that museum out there? I said, yeah, old tractors, I think about that sometimes. The people here, I don't know, I've never counted them, but a few hundred work here one way or another. Everything from playing the banjo to making syrup and all the rest. They have a deep interest in preserving that craft, that art, that, boy, that could disappear real quick, you know. I think people really have a yearning to grab hold of the substantial things in your own past, you know. And I've given my life, really, my wife thinks, to doing that. The definition of the value of this State Fair Master is a wonderful name to begin with. And the fact that I'm following a distinguished group that got it before me, but I guess I feel complimented that something that I feel so deeply about, that it's going to have some public recognition. I appreciate it because who knows better than I how important this is.